Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Commodity TV for you today here in Frankfurt at the Jumeirah Hotel. And we want to talk to Darren Klinck, and he's the president and CEO of Bluestone Resources, who wants to give us, of course, an update on his fantastic company. Darren, welcome in Frankfurt.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. I already listened to your fabulous presentation, and I must say I'm very convinced that you have a great project and a great company. But before we start to talk about on an update, I would love to understand, what have you done different the last weeks that you got 23 million in the bank? A lot of companies have problems to finance, and it looked to me like you did it like in the easy way.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily quite that easy, but no doubt I think, that it was a quality project that we've got in Cerro Blanco, and it's only been 2 short years since we acquired this project. We've been very focused on the technicals, obviously, and delivering the feasibility study. And we went out really to the market for a $10 million bought deal, which was approached to us in February. And as you said, kind of $22.5 million is where we ended up. So
it's a bit more than 10 million.
Yeah, no, that's right. But I think, you're right. It has been a challenging, place, I think, over the last couple of years with regards to the junior market and the commodities space. Obviously, there's been a lot of focus elsewhere. But nonetheless, quality projects, I think, do rise to the top. We've got a great project in Cerro Blanco, some of the best margins out there. It's advanced. It's had more than $200 million sunk into it. And we have had very strong support from our current shareholders. The Lundin family continue to be very supportive, CD Capital. We've added new shareholders out of the UK, the Middle East, Northern Europe, Canada, the United States. And so, we've done our best here, I think, to kind of reach out and try to tell the story. It's obviously, I'm here in Frankfurt and met with some very interested investors today as well, but very pleased with the outcome. I think it bodes very well for us moving forward. And now a key focus for us is continue the drilling and obviously to also put the project financing package in place.
Absolutely. So that would be my next question. What are you doing now with the money? I mean, you have like $18 million in the bank. Yeah, that's a nice amount of money, of course. You have done your feasibility, which cost like what, 15 million?
Yeah,
like that?
Probably 15 to 20 million, probably.
Exactly. So that's all done. So now we talk about project finance. Of course, that's one thing. You will elaborate in a second, maybe how you intend to do it, yeah. But what else will you do now with the money? Because I saw in your presentation that you still have some inferred ounces, of course. I could imagine that you want to upgrade them.
Yeah, so this is it's a great deposit. As I said, it's high grade, low sulfidation epithermal. When we updated the resource update in September of last year, we identified there was another 360,000 ounces of inferred. And of course, inferred ounces don't make their way into proven and probable because they lack the density of drilling required. So we've done quite a bit of analysis on that. We kicked off a drill program in December. We're continuing on that now. And the core focus on that is really to upgrade from inferred into measured and indicated. By our estimate, in fact, for every dollar we're spending on drilling right now, we can add up to $15 in NPV.
Nice.
And so that'll be a key focus for us here over the next few months. We think that'll be complementary and obviously add to the mine plan, add value into the project. And as we demonstrated with the feasibility study, we've got a project that's going to produce gold for less than $600 an ounce all in. But also that there's a number of opportunities there for us to really kind of get into and look at, optimize, and run that in parallel with the project financing exercise, which we're just about to kick off.
Wow, fantastic. So what is, let's say, call it the plan? Of course, obviously, to move as many ounces out of the inferred into the higher category. But what would you expect what is possible? I mean, I know it's a forward-looking statement, but you must have some guessing when you are drilling and you get a feeling on that. I think we talk about maximum like 350,000 ounces probably, but maybe not all in one.
Yeah, no, that's right.
What could you imagine?
We've been public, our estimate and our goal this year is to add another 200,000 ounces to the mine plan. When you take into account that's another 1 to 2 years of mine life, and it's just indicative of these sorts of geologic systems. So I'm quite confident that if we're standing here 15 years from now in the hotel in Frankfurt, we're still going to be mining gold in this project. It's got a lot of exploration potential. We're already demonstrating that. And even though the focus has really been on infill drilling, upgrading ounces that we know that are in inferred to move to measured indicated, we've already made 2 new vein discoveries. Not even trying to, but it is the nature of these sorts of deposits. Highly prospective.
Fantastic. So how would it look like possible mine financing or project financing plan for that? Because with that margin, I could imagine that you can raise quite a chunk of debt, which is great, and those interest rates, yeah? So maybe the equity portion is not too high?
Sure, yeah. I think, we're fairly confident that we should be able to undertake this this project financing. We've already got more than 15 groups already in a data room. Much like your question earlier with regards to the equity finance, I think we've surprised the marketplace and many being able to raise the capital at a time which has been challenging, within the marketplace. And so this project, it sells itself. Folks come down, whether it be buy-side analysts, sell-side analysts, to come down and visit it. There's just not too many projects out there that have had a $200 million head start or 10 grams per ton, and we'll have a margin that, is in and around 100%. So our strategy really is both to take on debt, to start with. We've engaged with some of the more traditional project finance banks, European banks predominantly, private equity groups. We've had interest from some of the streaming and royalty companies as well. So over the next sort of 8 months, that'll be a key focus for us. The CapEx to build this project is around $200 million. And so we'll be very focused on it, and I'm very confident that we can put that financing in place to really move into the next stage of the evolution for Cerro Blanco.
And of course, you see already interest, right?
Yeah,
for
sure.
Financiers, I would call
Yeah,
it.
no, as I said, there's about 15 different groups that are already in the data room, and of course, they'll need to work through their process to do their due diligence. But for a project of this size to have that much interest up front, again, the feasibility study demonstrated this project should pay itself back in 2 years. With 100% margin, there's a lot of flexibility here, and I think ultimately folks are getting more and more comfortable around the project, even though, 2 years ago it was not very well known. It was really tied up within Goldcorp and not a focus for them. But we're starting to shine some lights on it, and I think the project itself is doing a good job on that.
Fantastic. I saw also in your presentation a little bit of let's call it a comparison, with possible valuations on a projected cash flow, if you compare, apples with apples, I would call it, What do you think might be a reason that you still have such a low valuation compared to the quality of the project? Right. Is it like that people say, maybe let's wait a little bit longer because they have to do the financing first, Or is it
Well, I think that's, in our space, it's pretty typical from, discovery through to operations. I think I've heard 1 in 1,000 projects actually get to be in operation. And from first discovery through to that point, it could be 14 or 15 years. We've actually kind of cut the first 12 or 13 years out because of the work previously done by Goldcorp and Glamis and the $200 million it's spent. So a huge advantage for us. But nonetheless, we're at a stage now where we need to get the finance. We then need to kick off the construction and bring in the project into operations. It's probably an 18-month construction. So if we can, in fact, get financing in place towards the end of this year. I think really by the end of 2021 we should be producing gold.
So that's a good 2.5 years from here.
Yeah, in that sort of ballpark, I think. We want to kind of be somewhat conservative, but 2.5 years in the mining space is pretty small period of time.
It's really not that much.
No, it's not. So I think when you look at peer companies, definitely, some of the developers that are perhaps ahead of us already in construction and financed, or maybe just recently started commissioning or now producing gold from a single asset, you'll see these companies trade at 5 and 6 times on an EV to free cash flow basis. Currently we're trading right now at less than 1 times. So definitely an opportunity, but the ball's in our court. We've got a lot of work ahead of us.
What was also interesting for me after your presentations, we had, I think, 2-3 questions on Guatemala, of course. It is Latin America. It is not Canada. It's not Australia, obviously. But maybe can you elaborate a bit on, let's say, the mining code, the ethical, the social standards, how you work in that environment, and is it good to work? Is it structured to work? Do they have a mining law? Maybe to give our viewers an idea that you are not like in an unruled country. Is it organized?
I think that the Guatemala as a country sells itself. We've had 7 different sell-side analysts come down to visit the project. All 7 of them have come away positively predisposed and cover the stock. For a company our size, I think that's indicative of what they see not only in the project in the country. Most don't realize that Guatemala, it's the largest economy in Central America. It has been growing at 2 to 4% per annum. I think it's had the most stable currency in all of Latin America against the U.S. dollar in the last 10 years. It's been more stable than the Canadian dollar or the British pound. Harvard recently put out a study that, in fact, they believe Guatemala will be the fastest growing Latin American economy over the next 15 years, and one of the fastest in the world. And it has sovereign debt ratings on par with Brazil and the Dominican Republic, much stronger economies, obviously, and larger economies. So it's a pro-business environment. There's a lot of U.S. investment. 40 to 50% of the exports end up in the United States. And they've well thought out their mining act and their mining law. It's fairly well structured, both from a regulatory perspective and also from a fiscal regime. And so, no, we're very comfortable there. I've throughout my career worked throughout Southeast Asia, other parts of Latin America. And we'll have plenty of challenges along the way. There's no doubt. Our business in general, whether you're in British Columbia or you're in Guatemala, or you're in the Philippines, or you're in West Africa, there's always challenges ahead. But I'm very comfortable with Guatemala. I was down there again 4 weeks ago. I'm heading down in a couple weeks. I love it down there. The people are great. They're very supportive. But at the same time, I mean, you have to act with respect, and that's
as always.
It's an important, and sometimes I think it gets overlooked. But at the end of the day, we're guests in Guatemala. But we're fortunate that Goldcorp did a great job with their community relations and working with local stakeholders, and we're continuing that on. And it's an important part for me personally.
Super. So you feel sound and safe there?
I do. No, and I'm looking forward to going back in 10 days. So.
Super. Perfect. Last question. When can we expect the next news?
Well, for sure. We've got drill results that are coming out here fairly regularly. And so with 2 drills going in the underground right now, I think we've had maybe 5 releases out over the last 3 months. Great releases. As I said, we made 2 news.
You keep hitting.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's fairly easy in this deposit. I mean, I think from the perspective that we've done a lot of work technically to better understand the geologic model. But you'll see a steady stream of drilling, and obviously as we get into the project financing exercise as well, some of the optimization work we're doing on the engineering, I'm sure there'll be things to talk about as well.
Perfect. Well, Darren, thank you very much. Great update. And I would say, keep it going, and we look forward then to the project finance, of course, but closer and in shorter time frame, we look forward to some good drill results.
For sure. It's a treasure hunt at the end of the day. So great to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Darren Klinck, the President and CEO of Bluestone Resources, and you heard that the drills are turning. One thing. Second thing, they are starting to put the project finance quite soon together here. They want to have that done by the end of the year latest. And the company's cashed up. They intended to do a $10 million board deal. They ended up at $23 million Canadian. So that, I think that speaks also itself for the project, for the company. The guys have done a terrific job. And the demand for the financing was there and is there. And the company, is doing a fantastic job. And also, the shareholder structure speaks for itself. Management has 9%. We like that a lot, because when management has skin in the game, they normally don't run away. One hand, and on the other hand, you have the Lundin Family Trust, and they have done the due diligence, that's for sure, and also CD Capital. So I would suggest you should check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Frankfurt.